Give me the guns.
I don't want you to talk. Get on the fucking ground. It's just a fucking now.
I'm offering you a way out.
What the fuck?
The film begins with a fast car chase. One car is trying to make a woman stop. When she pulls over, masked gunmen surround her car, break the windows, and try to drag her out. Suddenly, a well-dressed man shows up. The attackers freeze when they see him and call out his name, Randall Thompson. Although Randall had never seen them before, the group acted like they already knew him. He tried to stay calm as the woman suddenly ran from the car, but she was shot in the leg. Randall ran to help her, but the gunman shot him down. Panic spread through the group as everything quickly spun out of control. One of the attackers panicked, but another shot again, killing Randall. They searched his pockets, found a police badge, and took it before running away. Across the street, a shop owner saw everything and called the police. Later, Randall was honored at his funeral for his military service and skills as a mercenary. Randall's daughter, Anna, went to the funeral with her teacher, Kara, and both were deeply saddened. Later, Randall's brother, Carl, showed up unexpectedly. His arrival surprised Anna, but also gave her comfort since she had no other family. She introduced him to Kara, who welcomed him kindly. It was clear Carl planned to stay. On the way home with Anna, he asked questions, wanting to learn more about the place. Anna explained that the area was dangerous, and her father had always fought against the gangs. He was killed after running into criminals by accident while shopping. Upset, she blamed Carl for never visiting, even though Randall had always hoped he would. She then asked if Carl planned to leave again. Carl promised he would stay. Near the school, Carl saw a group of teens bothering a woman. When he walked closer, she quickly left. The teens then turned their attention to Carl, mocking him and saying they controlled the area. Staying calm, Carl asked if they were really trying to threaten him. A police car arrived, and the teens scattered. But after the officers left, they came back and started shooting at Carl. He dodged the bullets, and the group ran away. Later, Carl met his old friend Joey in a quiet place. Joey had once worked with Shale, their former teacher who now lived in New York. Carl asked for help looking into Randall's murder and whether a gang was responsible. Joey agreed to help Carl, happy to work with him again, even without pay. That night, they met at a bar to make plans. Joey told him that a shop owner had seen the murder but was too scared to speak. When Carl asked about the shooter, Joey confirmed he was a student at Lantro High and a member of the Brotherhood gang. The attackers wore hoodies backward with eye holes, and the shop owner confirmed they were high school students. Joey said they needed to act quickly. The next day, Carl brought drinks to Kara, and she was happy to see him. When he asked about Randall's replacement, Kara explained that the school was looking for a substitute teacher for its most violent class. Carl said he used to teach self-defense and offered to take Randall's place. Kara was unsure at first but agreed to help if he got certified. The next day, Anna went back to school for the first time since her father's death and reunited with her best friend, Danny. Carl also came to the school to meet with the administration, guided by shop teacher Warren Drummond. On the way, Warren asked if he was the new substitute for the troubled class. Danny passed by, thanked Warren, but looked uneasy. In class, Carl noticed that many students seemed more like gang members than regular high school kids. After getting his hall pass, Carl got lost, but a security guard showed him the way. When he entered the classroom, it was total chaos. Students were partying, drinking soda, dancing, and flirting, with no learning at all. He tried to introduce himself, but everyone ignored him. When a student named Dante asked to turn down the music, the whole class groaned. Carl joked with a student holding a soda, asking if he had enough for everyone, which made the class laugh. Then Carl introduced himself as the new substitute teacher. Carl noticed a student with a broken arm, said to be from playing basketball. When Dante joked that teaching could be just as dangerous, Carl pulled out a yo-yo and asked if anyone knew what it was. He explained that it had once been used as a weapon in the Philippines 400 years ago. Carl then threw the yo-yo and shattered a soda bottle to prove his point. He used the moment to teach a lesson: never judge by appearances and always share if you bring soda. The class went quiet, with some students interested and others secretly planning to test him later. At lunch, a few mocked Carl, not realizing Joey was nearby, secretly filming. In the teacher's lounge, Carl met his tired and discouraged coworkers. One joked about him surviving his first class. Carl said the students acted tough, but he wasn't sure they really were. Another teacher reminded him that Randall had once thought the same. One teacher sarcastically mentioned Randall's fate, but Warren interrupted, hinting that Carl's students wouldn't change either. Despite sounding smug, he invited Carl for a walk and asked why he chose that class. His words carried a subtle warning that Carl should have picked an easier one. Kara walked over, playfully pretending she didn't know Carl, and asked Warren to introduce them. Meanwhile, Anna met Dennis, who was driving a Mustang. She admired the car and asked how he could afford it, but he avoided the question and invited her for a ride. She agreed. At the same time, Carl and Joey were secretly following a group of students they suspected were Brotherhood members connected to Randall's death. They followed the group to an abandoned factory where the gang was torturing the shop owner who had seen Randall's murder. Carl and Joey sneaked inside without being noticed and saw the man hanging by his arms while being badly beaten. Joey asked if they should step in, and Carl nodded. The gang leader was accusing the victim of spreading rumors that they had killed the teacher, claiming they were only students. The man begged for his life and admitted he had called the police, which made the gang beat him even harder. Meanwhile, Carl quietly got his tactical gear ready. Joey, unarmed, stepped out and warned the gang to release the man or face the consequences. To support him, Carl shot a few gang members in the leg. Joey then aimed his gun at the gang leader and threatened to shoot if the man wasn't freed. Realizing the threat was serious, the leader gave in and untied the victim. Joey warned the gang not to move until the laser dots disappeared, or they would be shot. The gang froze as Joey confidently led the victim out. At home, Anna and Dennis were getting close, but she pulled away when it went too far. When he asked why, she brushed it off with a joke. Just then, Carl arrived, startling her, and she hurried Dennis to sneak out. She greeted Carl downstairs and he joked about teaching history. Anna laughed, and before leaving, Carl said he understood what teenagers were going through. That night, students from the special class planned to steal a car. Mace, carrying a radio, broke into one while his friend disabled the alarm. They drove away calmly. Joey secretly watched the students from the shadows. Meanwhile, Carl spent the evening having drinks with Kara. When she asked about his past, he told her that Randall was not only his brother, but also his partner when they worked as mercenaries. Carl said Randall had inspired him to become a teacher and try to make a difference. Carl got a call from Joey, who said he had set a trap with a bait car and Dante and Mace had stolen it. He asked Carl to guess where it was going and they agreed to meet. Carl thanked Kara before leaving, though she wished he could stay. When they met, Joey showed him where the stolen car had been taken. Carl wanted to take action right away, but Joey told him to wait, saying tomorrow would be more important. He gave Carl a recording of the gang planning to attack him. The next day, Carl went to school as usual, and Dante greeted him with sarcasm, calling him the man with the lesson plan. Carl smiled and started teaching. One student pretended to be sick so he could slip out and let gang members in through the back door. Meanwhile, Mace blasted loud music and ignored Carl. After several warnings, Carl decided it was time to teach the class a lesson. He explained that if Mace kept playing music, it would create a deadlock with no compromise. Then he threw the radio out the window, instantly silencing the class. Furious, Mace pulled out a knife and tried to show off, but Carl quickly disarmed him and kept the weapon. Carl made it clear he wasn't trying to embarrass anyone. He just wanted the class to know he was in charge and there to help them. Noticing that Keshin hadn't come back from the bathroom, he went to check the boys' area. There, gang members ambushed him, but thanks to Joey's warning, Carl was ready and quickly took them down. In the classroom, Keshin heard the fight and ran in, telling everyone Carl might be under attack, while Mace chose to stay out of it. Mace was still thinking about Carl's words. Meanwhile, Carl fought in the bathroom, using his training to defeat an attacker and force a confession about Randall Thompson's death. Afterward, he calmly straightened his tie and watch. Just then, the security guard walked in and praised his skills. The guard introduced himself as Jonathan Barty and said Carl fought like a Green Beret. He mentioned serving in the 1st Battalion in 1971-1972 and suspected the attackers weren't real students. They had probably been let in by someone inside the school. Jonathan suspected Carl was undercover and made it clear he knew Carl wasn't just an ordinary teacher. He offered to handle the situation and told Carl to return to class, asking to meet later in the basement. Carl went back as if nothing had happened and saw Keshawn in the spotlight. Carl checked on Keshawn, but the other students were suspicious because of his lie. After class, Carl asked Mace to stay and questioned him about the radio's value. Mace said it was fairly expensive. Carl told him he had the potential to change, but Mace grew angry, feeling misunderstood. Mace revealed that his father was in prison, his brother was dead, and he didn't know where his mother was. The gang was all he had. Carl listened and reminded him that he still had the power to choose a different path. Quietly, Mace returned the yo-yo and walked away. Later, Keshawn and his friends checked the bathroom, but all traces of the fight were gone. Keshawn insisted that Carl had fought the gang, but his friends didn't believe him. Later, Carl met Jonathan in the basement, where the guard showed him his living space and military gear. Carl was impressed by Jonathan's dedication and sense of duty. During their talk, Carl revealed that he was searching for his brother Randall's killer. Jonathan and Carl shared a soda, while Jonathan explained that he often heard strange noises at night and saw people sneaking into the building, though no one was there when he went to check. Carl suggested they team up and bring in another ally to help with the investigation. That same day, on her way home, Anna was stopped by members of the Brotherhood gang. The gang threatened Anna, warning her to stop Carl from interfering in their business and to pretend the meeting never happened. Shaken, she told Carl, who advised her to stay home for a few days. Although reluctant, she agreed. That night, Carl, Joey, and Jonathan met at the school to investigate the strange noises. They moved quietly through the garage as Jonathan led them into a hidden passage. Carl went ahead and discovered Warren with several students, clearly involved in illegal activity. He returned and reported that Warren was running a chop shop, taking apart 3 to 4 cars a week and selling the parts cheaply. They estimated Warren was making more than $100,000 a month. Meanwhile, Dante told him the police had tracked a stolen car, leading to a chase, and the worst news: Mace was dead. Warren showed no emotion at the loss. The next morning, Carl met with the grieving students. Only Dante seemed unmoved, saying Mace took a risk and paid the price. Carl disagreed, saying school should not be a battlefield and students should not be dying. Dante replied that, for people like him, the real world was already like that. Dante argued that, unlike Carl, they had to fight for everything because nothing came easy. He blamed Mace's death on the police, not himself. Still, Carl suspected Dante might be connected to Randall's death, whether he realized it or not. After class, Carl went to see Kara to learn more about Warren. Kara explained that Warren was well-liked at school but cold and controlling in private. They had dated for a short time, but she ended it because of his possessiveness. The next day, during a break, Carl quietly asked her to look into Warren's background and past jobs. As Carl and Kara talked, Warren watched them from a distance with suspicion. Later, while Carl was at home with Joey, Kara called and said she had found something important. She urged them to come over right away. Before leaving, they told Anna not to open the door for anyone. Soon after, someone knocked on Kara's door. She was startled to see Warren standing there with a bag of food, saying he was just passing by. Feeling uneasy, she quickly hid the folder meant for Carl. Warren acted friendly, but subtly tried to get information about Carl. Meanwhile, Anna quietly left to meet Danny. Danny welcomed Anna into his room but quickly made her uncomfortable by moving too fast. While he was in the bathroom, she noticed a condom on the table, which unsettled her. Even worse, she discovered her father's police badge in one of his drawers. Terrified, Anna searched further and found a Brotherhood gang outfit in Danny's closet. As she hurried to get dressed and leave, Danny came back. Anna confronted him, asking if he had killed her father. Danny claimed her father had interfered with the Brotherhood's money. As the tension grew, Danny grabbed a knife. Anna, trained in karate, fought back with a strong kick and smashed a glass over his head. When he lunged again, she managed to break free and escape. Meanwhile, at Kara's house, Warren lost control. He threw her across the room and revealed his violent nature. Accusing her of betrayal, he struck her repeatedly. Demanding to know Carl's real identity, he forced Kara to admit that Carl was Randall Thompson's brother. She tried to run, but Warren caught her, beat her, and fatally shot her. He then ordered his men to kill Carl and to follow no one's orders but his. As Warren left the building, he saw Carl and Joey coming and quickly hid, waiting for his chance. They walked past without noticing him. Inside, Carl was crushed to find Kara dead. He found the folder she had prepared, which revealed Warren's past as a former U.S. Marine operative. The file showed that Warren was honorably discharged under special circumstances. He had been suspected of illegal operations in Honduras in 1986, though he denied the charges and was later honored in 1987. Meanwhile, at home, Anna told Carl that Danny had set her up and was behind the murder. Danny confessed that he had committed the murder to prove himself to Warren. That night, Carl armed himself, determined to finish things. Joey picked him up, and together they drove to the high school. He reported seeing 2 cars filled with gang members nearby, and soon the gang showed up. Armed and ready to kill Carl, the gang stormed the school. Carl, Joey, and Jonathan retreated inside, and a violent shootout broke out, turning the school into a battlefield. Several gang members were badly wounded, but Carl, Joey, and Jonathan escaped without injury. They hid in another room and locked the door. Joey was wounded, and they felt cornered. Spotting a gas can, Carl quickly came up with a plan. He set the can by the door, and when the gang fired at it, the explosion gave them time to escape. Jonathan guided them through a tunnel to a hidden room filled with old weapons. They armed themselves and prepared to fight back, while the gang kept attacking but suffered heavier losses. After a fierce shootout, Jonathan threw a smoke grenade. When the smoke cleared, Carl went after the gang leader while Joey and Jonathan held off the rest. In the chaos, the gang accidentally shot and killed their own leader. With his dying breath, he revealed that Warren Drummond was behind everything. Carl confronted Warren in the classroom, accusing him of killing Kara and pointing to her notes that revealed the truth. Panicked, Warren denied it and tried to shift the focus by exposing Carl's mercenary past to the students. He then reached for a gun in his briefcase, but Carl stopped him, and a violent fight broke out. Warren pulled out a flamethrower, but Carl disarmed him and fought back, finally stabbing him in the eye with a light bulb and leaving him badly injured. The students watched, uncertain who to support, as Warren kept getting up even after Carl knocked him down several times. From upstairs, Anna saw the fight and hurried to help her uncle. The battle grew more intense as both men used all their strength. In the end, Warren stabbed Carl's hand with a screwdriver. Despite his injury, Carl kept fighting with determination. The students watched in fear, thinking he might die, but he stood up and stabbed Warren, finally ending the fight. The classroom fell silent, with no one showing sympathy for Warren. Afterward, Anna and Joey rushed to Carl's side and thanked him for everything. Jonathan clapped and told the students to return to class. The fight was finally over. As they left, Dante showed rare kindness, urging Carl to see a doctor and rest. Carl thanked Joey for always standing by him. Later, he and Anna visited Randall's grave, leaving flowers and his badge. Anna asked him to stay, but he gently refused, saying he was proud of her. They embraced as the film came to an end,